Everybody, JC here from Toy News International, and today I'm doing a new series of videos. I'm kicking off a new series of videos that I'm hoping to do on a semi-regular basis, maybe once a month or every other month. And basically this is going to be an interview type series where I talk with people within the toy industry, whether it's people actually work at toy companies or people who do similar things like I do, like Toy News, or do action figure reviews and such. And so if you guys like this type of video, if you think this is something you want to see more of, definitely let me know in the comments section below. I'm kind of testing the waters here with this one and also just working out the logistics. Most of these will probably be done with like Skype and such. I'll be recording. So it's not like, you know, when we go to the conventions and we interview folks. So it's going to be a little bit different from that. But again, I'd really love to hear your guys' input and what you think of this type of video. But for today, for my first video, I've got somebody here who I'm sure many of you have heard of. He's probably one of the most popular action figure toy reviewers on YouTube today, my friend ShartimusPrime. Hey Shartimus, thanks for being here on the TNI News Channel.
Thanks so much for having me.
I know you're busy, you've got a lot of things going on in your life right now. You've got a new addition to the family that's on the way and you're getting ready for that. So let me just say thanks for taking the time to talk with us today. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, so let's just hop right into it and let's start with some of the basics. Like, why don't you tell the folks how you got into action figure collecting and then how that led you to do videos about action figures and reviews?
So I started collecting action figures when I was about 15 years old. I had already had toys and stuff. I didn't really have a hard time getting toys growing up, and that's not like I got every single toy I wanted, but I didn't really start collecting until I was about 15 years old. And there's kind of a long story that goes along with that, and there's a short story. I'll keep it short, though. The short story is that I had a near-death experience where I wasn't really able to do a whole lot of anything. And so I was kind of like quarantined a little bit, even though I didn't have any disease or anything like that. Cracked my skull is what that was. But anyway, I couldn't play any sports. I was in high school. I went to a very jock high school. I was in high school at the same time as Tom Brady. So Tom Brady was a senior when I was a sophomore. So very jock high school. Couldn't play any sports. My dad felt bad for me. Star Wars Special Edition had just come out in theaters. This is around '97, something like that. And I was all about Star Wars, man. I got on that Star Wars craze big time. And so I was collecting those figures mint on card. I would actually, on days I could, I would get to the store early and wait for it to open. And I was surprised to see 30-year-old men collecting toys. And I thought to myself, wow, what losers these grown men. Do they have wives? Do they have jobs? And so I turned into one of those guys. And but yeah, and that's how it started.
And what got you into doing video reviews on YouTube of action figures?
The videos, I was watching. This 2007, I was like really watching YouTube. Like most of that year of 2007, I was watching a lot of YouTube, and I had a government job, and I would come home and spend a lot of my free time just watching a lot of YouTube action figure reviews on Transformers. And the majority of the reviewers were very mellow, monotone, kind of fitting into the description of like the lonely dork in the basement of his parents' house and stuff like that. And I've been a geek, but I'm also a musician, and I'm out there, and I always thought to myself, man, these guys don't represent me. I want to have a YouTube channel where I could have fun, where I feel like there's a huge element of fun involved. So I wanted to think of something that was like really pertained to, you know, like what I find humorous. And I thought about ShartimusPrime for a little bit, and I was like, nah, it's not nasty enough. I want to be a little bit grosser. Like, let's go with the Shart, yeah, ShartimusPrime. And then that's how that started.
Now you said you started doing action figure reviews back in 2007? No,
I started watching YouTube in 2007. So my first post wasn't until 2008. So the channel started, I think, November 18th, 2008, or November 20th. Can't remember. But 8-year anniversary is coming up very soon.
Sweet. Well, congratulations. And it looks like you're about to hit a milestone by reaching that 300 subscriber mark. Did you ever think that one day you would actually get to that many subscribers?
At first, no, and then at some point, I felt like I could do it. Like, I never like started the YouTube channel thinking that I would like, oh my god, I want 300,000 subscribers. I'm gonna go for it. You know, it's not like I thought. I didn't think anybody would care when I was posting. So at the beginning, I didn't think it would be anything at all. But it did get to a point where I was like, okay, like, am I gonna try to make this happen or not? You know what I mean? So, and it wasn't until I felt like I was getting like some good ground that I was like, hey, I think I could keep this going and see how far this could go, and started build some confidence in what I was doing and feeling like I had the ability to, you know, to make myself adapt over time and make changes. I think that's something that's very key to helping me get to this milestone, is changing what I bring to the table, not leaving it the same. So, but I had hoped I would get to this point, but I never thought it would be certain. You know what I mean? So I believed in myself, had hoped for it, but there was never a point where I thought it was certainly going to happen.
Well, getting to 300,000 subscribers is certainly nothing to sneeze about, especially with this specific topic of action figures, which is a very small niche overall, I would say. So definitely congrats again on that.
Let's not jinx it, Jay.
So out of all the years you've been doing videos, what would you say is your best video or the one you're most proud of? And what is the worst video? What is the one you wish you had taken down or wish you could take down or maybe did take down?
Oh yeah, my best video is one I didn't put up on YouTube. See, lovely Charlita One and I went on this vacation and we went to Reno.
Not rated X videos.
My favorite video is the Marvel Legends Collector documentary. That's my all-time favorite YouTube video. A lot of people have complimented me on that, and I love hearing those compliments, but you will never love those videos as much as I do. Because it's something that I came up with in my head and then put it out there, and it's like, and it sounds like crazy talk, but I've watched those videos over and over in my head. So before the script is written out, I'm watching it, and then I'm shooting it, and I'm watching it. So I've watched it way more times than anybody could possibly watch it. So, but yeah, so I'm very happy with how those have come out over anything else that I've done. The most work by far, though, and I repeat these numbers just to give people an idea why those get posted once every 2 years. The last one had 20 hours of footage, and the video was 6 minutes long. So that's just the amount of footage that we had recorded with the camera on was 20 hours. Now, the time it takes to edit that to 6 minutes, that's a whole other set of hours, which I didn't clock to a T. And then there's a prep and everything and organizing, getting people to show up. Charlita One did the lighting, and she was our cinematographer, and she made sure that the lighting and everything looked the way she wanted it to. It was really cool. So those I'm the most proud of. As far as the worst, I can't think of any specific video that. I mean, the worst is the second video I ever put up on YouTube, which is actually still a video that I like. So it's like me running around with an airplane, kind of being a brat to my brother. Just it's the second video I made. It's like I think it's called Starscream Attacks Gordotron. That's probably the worst video I've put up there. But I've had a couple of reviews where it's like I really try on all of them. And there's some of them, once in a while it happens where I'm really trying, but it's like I'm just like wrong about something that I say, or I make a mistake, or I try to fix a mistake and I'm still wrong. Like that happens a few times, or I make a couple of mistakes and it's just so cringy and it pisses me off. But I get over it. But there's a few of those where I'm like, damn it, that could have been better, or some of them where I don't have enough time to clean it up when I know I could clean it up, but I just don't have the time to do it. Those frustrate me a lot. That bothers me.
Now, earlier you said you started out watching a lot of different YouTubers and their toy reviews. Is there any toy reviewer out there that you admire or find inspiration from? Are they still around today? Who is your favorite action figure toy reviewer, besides yourself, of course?
No, I'm the best, and that's it, man. That's it. No, that's about it. No, there's if you guys have been, if anybody out there watches Jobby the Hung, you'll probably see me commenting in his videos. Jobby, I think Jobby the Hung is like, I just recently discovered him, and he's been around for a few years now, but I just recently found him, and he's got it, man. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, another person who I thought was up there too is like Glenn Webb. Like Glenn Webb, I really liked a lot. Glenn Webb and I actually had, we didn't, I mean, we talked, but not too often. And I really think that we had a healthy, not a healthy, I don't want to say rivalry, and I don't want to say competition, but I felt like we were a little bit competitive with each other, and I could see him take ideas from me and change them in his own way, and I definitely took ideas from him and changed it and made my own way. So when I see reviewers like that are really creative, doing really fun stuff, that's what I really like. Oh, Thew Adams, I think. Thew's reviews, I like his reviews a lot too. I think he's really good. I mean, these are people that spend a lot of time editing. That's basically where it puts it down there. Sean Long, I gotta give a big shout out to Century Productions and Sean Long, though. Those two guys actually had, well, I mentioned all these other reviewers, but yeah, Century Productions, really early on, him and I, kind of like what I was saying, Glenn, like we would inspire each other going back and forth, and then same thing with Sean Long too. So Sean Long was a huge inspiration.
Okay, so let's switch topics here, and let's talk about something that you've at times maybe taken a little fire for, and that's the whole Patreon thing. You've stated on a couple occasions that this is your primary job. Now, I also know that you do drum lessons on the side as well, but this is your primary source of income and your primary job. And you've also stated in recent years that YouTube has, significantly reduced the revenue that they pay out to YouTubers, and that's really no big secret. And that's why you've turned to things like Patreons, and which in turn has caused you to, your critics to kind of attack you for doing that. So do you still think that this is a viable job? I mean, obviously toy reviews is hard work. They're, putting yourself out there on a daily basis, especially when, you've built up a channel with something like 300,000 subscribers. But is it one that's viable from a revenue standpoint, and do you still support the Patreon system, and what do you say to the critics who attack you for doing that?
Okay, well, going to the people that have spoken out against me for doing it and think I'm a human turd for doing it, I understand why. Like, I actually don't fully blame you guys, if you are watching, but I don't totally blame you guys, and it's kind of like really kind of hit me what I look like asking for support on Patreon to the vast majority of people. You get it. You know that there's a lot of work that goes into this. But the way this, because you've done it, but most people don't. And most people don't understand how much time goes into it. Also, so there's the way things look, right? Like, there's the image that's portrayed out there. So first off, I'm doing nothing asking for something, correct? That's the image that people have. I even had one of my students tell me, like, it was like a 12-year-old kid or something. It's like, how could you be busy? Like, your videos only take 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, kid, just because the video takes 10 minutes just because the video is 10 minutes long doesn't mean it's 10 minutes to make. You know what I mean? It takes hours. So first off, it looks like I'm doing nothing asking for something, which I can understand because, not most people are doing this. And then second off is, I mean, you can't, they're not in the background right now, but I mean, if I have a collection and I'm asking for support, that just makes me look incredibly greedy. So now I'm asking something for nothing, and I'm rich, swimming in a pool of gold coins asking for money as well, right? And those two things combined with that image going out there, then that's just asking for a lot of verbal punishment like I've received for doing this. So I understand the perspective, but the reality behind it, which some people just straight up choose not to believe. Like, no, you're a greedy bastard, and you will say anything to get money because that's what you love more than anything else. Trust me, bro, I have a college degree. If I wanted nothing more than money, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. I would be at my government desk job, okay? But I hated it. I hated doing it. I had some very, very poor experiences, and and I've also had other opportunities where I've actually chosen to go for what makes me happy, for what I love to do, over doing this. And that's the other thing I have to say is the part where I'm greedy is that I want to do what I love for a living. So that's, if I'm guilty of being greedy, that's where I'm greedy, is that I don't want to stop doing this. I want to just keep doing this. I just want to keep producing videos and being creative. So that's what I have to say to those people.
Do you still, under the current environment with the shrinking revenue of YouTube, do you still feel this is something you can continue to do, especially because you do have an addition coming to your family and everything, which means your expenses are going to continue to rise? Do you still think this is something that's viable?
That is something I think about. I want to say about, that thought comes across my mind about 60 times per minute. Like that, I'm constantly thinking about that. But here's the thing, man. You know, with people giving me advice about parenthood, right? I just had a family birthday. My cousin turned 40 yesterday, and I had a family thing yesterday that I went to, and a lot of people were saying, "You'll figure it out. You'll make it work." And that's actually kind of like how I feel like I've gotten here in the first place, is that if I want this to work, I'll figure out a way to make this work. I really, the 9-to-5 existence just it bothered me so much that I'm really willing to do everything I possibly can to make this work before I hang up the towel and call it quits. So there's a lot of ideas and there's a lot of possibilities ahead. So ask me again in 4 years. I've been doing this for almost 8 years. Ask me again in 4 years, and then we'll see if I've gone through all of those backup plans that I have set aside for myself. But I mean, one thing for sure is that I've been more or less hoarding. And if you saw my collection video, there's a lot of extra stuff that I have laying around, and that hasn't totally been by accident. I'm massive sale, massive sale coming up soon. So if you guys want to follow me on eBay, it's called ShartimusPrime, and I'm selling a whole bunch of stuff over there. So check that out. If sorry, plug, but no, but I have ideas in mind to try to keep things afloat. And it's not going to be easy. So if it's going to be, if I think it's going to be an easy road, I definitely don't think so. YouTube's in bad shape right now. Things are not looking good. I do need people's help and support on Patreon. And if I've exhausted all my ideas and I don't see things happening, and I think I'm gonna put my wife or my kid in any kind of jeopardy, then I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure they're okay. I won't let them suffer for any kind of pride on my part or anything like that. So, yeah, so to answer your question, I don't know what the future holds, but I know that I'm going to try everything I can possibly do. I'm going to try every possible option to keep the channel going.
Well, I know personally how stressful that can be, so definitely rooting for you and wishing you the best of luck with that. Alright, well, last question, and this is really more so you can plug whatever you've got in the works. You already plugged your eBay sale coming, but are there any other like video projects that you're working on, another Marvel Legends collecting video or anything along those lines that you want to take a minute and plug here?
Yeah, so well, first off, when I came back from Mexico City, I was very, very inspired. I was actually really inspired leaving San Diego Comic-Con too, but they're just like about a week apart from each other or something like that. So the combination of San Diego Comic-Con and meeting all kinds of awesome people, and then Mexico City meeting all kinds of awesome people, so many people telling me to my face, "Oh, I love the Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. I love the collector documentaries." It just inspired me to bring more of that back. So if you've been following the channel very closely, you may notice that I've brought back the stop motions. I've been doing about one a week because that's really all I have time for. And doing that is kind of spreading me thin. But I've been doing one a week, and if I'm able to do more, I'll do more. But that's like really all I can really handle right now while I'm actually posting. Also, expect nothing from me in October for a couple weeks. So the baby is due in October, and I got to get into dad mode and grind on being, supportive, for my wife and the baby and everything. So I'm going to take a 2-week break off in October. Chances are I'll probably still post a little bit because I'm addicted to posting. But if I don't post, I get fidgety. Like today, there's no post going up because I'm moving a whole bunch of stuff around, and it's still makes me antsy. I get anxiety for that. Also, on the plane ride back, I started actually typing out the script for the documentary, and there's a lot of big scenes that I've already played out in my head. So I've made myself laugh thinking about it, which is just crazy talking about it because it's just admitting being a crazy person. I mean, have you ever seen somebody sit there and just yeah, like it's crazy, man. But I'm watching it. You know what I mean? I'm playing out these ideas and everything. So the collector documentary, I can't give like a date or anything like that because baby. So I'm gonna try to make it happen by the end of the year, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, we definitely understand you're going to have your hands full with the new addition to the family here soon, but we look forward to all those projects. Hopefully you'll be able to get the collector video out by the end of the year. Now, have you picked out a name for the new edition?
Emelina.
Emelina?
Yeah, Emelina Aiken is what we're looking at.
All right, Shartimus. Well, thanks again for taking the time to answer questions for us. I really appreciate it with your busy schedule and everything, and I'm sure the viewers do as well. I'll be sure to put a link to your YouTube channel down in the video description just in case people aren't familiar with it. Also, guys, I would love to hear your input. Would you love to see more interview type videos like this? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you're so inclined, please like the video. And also, of course, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.